Shine bright up all night. We're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes. We're bound to hit the ground.
Hey guys, it's Shikemi Olabisi, the farm lady, and you are welcome back to another amazing, interesting and educative video. Yes, so as you can see from the title of this video, we are going to be talking about something that is very important to catfish farmers. When I say catfish farmers, I mean those into production, okay? Production of catfish seeds, those into growth production. So at some point there is going to be need to make sales. At some point there is going to be need to move your fish from one point to another, because definitely I believe the aim of having a catfish farm is to make profit. So you probably are in Lagos, Nigeria, and then you have a customer in Kogi State, Ogun State, and then there is need to actually move your fish from Lagos State down to Kogi State. How do you achieve this? How do you ensure your fish are in good state all through the process of moving them from your farm down to your customer farm, right? Or from your farm, your hatchery, down to the growth section? So there are so many things to put into consideration, so many things to put in place to ensure and reduce mortality to the barest minimum, in fact, as much as having zero mortality. That is the aim. So right, if you can actually do all this that I'm going to be highlighting in this video, then you're going to be smiling at the end of the day. Your customer is going to be happy, and then you're also going to be happy because why? You've done the right thing, you've done the needed things to actually ensure that the fish are in a good state right from the point of pickup to the point of delivery. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. So the number one thing I always tell people is this: whenever I have a customer and then this person needs a certain amount of fish, catfish, ensure that you are selling fish that is in a good state of health. Don't ever sell a diseased fish. Don't ever sell a fish that has a very, very poor immune system, right? That is a very, very, very bad situation that you're going to find yourself in. So that is the number one point. Ensure they are healthy. If they are not healthy, then you're going to be shooting yourself. You're going to be the one who is not going to get referred, right? So if you're going to be selling to a customer, ensure you are giving your best, because that is your ticket to thousands of other customers. So number 2 point is to ensure you do your sorting and counting at most 2 days before the day of movement, right? Sort your fish, count your fish before the day of movement. Why is this? The reason why you have to do this is to ensure they are not too stressed. Stress is one thing that can give you high rate of mortality, and we don't want that. We don't want to waste our money, right? So ensure that at most you do your sorting and counting 2 days before the day you intend transporting your fish to your customer's farm. Why is this? Because fish or catfish in general are not good when it comes to handling stress, right? Now imagine they are now sick. What will happen? So even for those that are healthy, you have to ensure you give them that gap, so that after the stress of, the stress that they will have to undergo during the sorting and counting process, they will have time to rest, right, and regain their energy. So that is key. Always give it time, space it out. I don't always like the idea of, somebody wants to buy certain quantity of fish from me and he wants to buy it now, he wants me to count, he wants me to I feel every catfish breeder should have a policy, right? Whoever is going to buy fish from you should book ahead, because that is going to help you a lot, because it's your business. And then in order to protect the name of your business, protect the integrity of your business, you have to put these measures in place so as to control. These are things you can actually control, right? So don't be under pressure to sell because somebody wants to buy, and then at the end of the day you're having high mortality rates. That is not going to be a funny experience. So have a policy in place where your customers have to book ahead, right? This gives you the time to sort, count, and then the fish can actually have enough time to rest and regain their energy from the stress of counting and sorting. So that is key. At most 2 days. If 2 days is too much, I can't wait for 2 days, 1 day is okay. If you're going to be transporting them the next day, you can do your sorting and counting today, right? So that is key. And also, while sorting and counting, ensure you're sorting in an environment that is cool. Don't sort under the sun. You're going to stress them too much, and then you're going to even have mortality before the actual day of delivery. So ensure you're sorting, sort early in the morning. Let's say 6 a.m. you start your sorting and counting, or towards the evening when the sun is down. That way the fish are not too stressed. So that is my point number 2. Point number 3 is to prepare your carriage materials. Prepare your carriage materials. So if you're going to be using the 50 liters black kegs or the 25 liters black kegs, that is fine. You can purchase it from the market close by, and then you have to cut it open like you can see on the screen. You cut it open and then you disinfect, you wash it properly. These plastics are made out of chemicals that can be very, very toxic to the fish. All right, so ensure you wash, rinse with salt and water, because this is something that so many people don't take into consideration. So when you are doing all these things, no rushing. You're taking it step by step. Ensure your fish are healthy, sort them earlier before the day of delivery. And then the carriage materials, the carriage items, they are properly taken care of. You clean them, you wash them, you disinfect them, then you're ready for the next step. The next step is to ensure you get as much space as possible for your fish. We don't want a situation whereby you will have to jam pack them. You're going to probably put 1,000 juveniles in a 50 liters keg, and then you're taking them from Lagos to, let's say, Kano State. How is that going to be okay? How do you imagine yourself packing hundreds of people in a small bus, and then you're taking them on a journey, on an 8 hours journey? Imagine, what do you think will happen? It is going to be so uncomfortable. So the same thing applies. Ensure you don't jam pack your fish. Ensure you give them enough space as possible. Enough space. tops you can do 800 per keg, per 50 liters keg. That is what I recommend, that is what I do. And 800 fish per keg, let's say for a 4-hour journey, is okay. A 4 hours journey rather, it's okay. So basically, the more the quantity, the more the stress, and you have a high tendency of what mortality rate. So try as much as possible to reduce the quantity you're putting per keg. Always don't let I've met customers that will tell me, farm lady, I need, let's say, 3,000 juveniles. I'll say, okay, we are going to need 4 kegs. And then they'll be like, no, I cannot afford 4 kegs. I can't afford 4 kegs. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell it to you if you cannot, go with these terms. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to use 2 kegs to transport 3,000 juveniles, right, to Kano State, what do you think will happen? It's not going to be funny, because you're going to come back to me and say, what, I sold you bad fish. I sold you a fish that is sick, right? And then I'm trying to avoid that. So if you want your fish to come in a good state, you have to ensure you advise your customer and tell him or her, please, you're going to need this total number of kegs, so as to ensure we do not stress the fish, so as to ensure they come in a very, very good state, right? These are living things, and you cannot just, you can't just put them through that pain, through that stress. It is not fair, right? This is something that you want to raise. This is something that you want to make money from. So you should actually try as much as possible to do all you can do. Do all you can do to ensure they are in a very, very good state, to avoid stories that touches the heart. Okay, so that is that. Next up is to, once you have the right number of kegs, you've disinfected them and all that, next thing is to ensure you use an anti-stress before transit, right? So after putting your fishes into the keg, it's always ideal that you drop this organic anti-stress. It is red oil, right? Red oil. And then you just drop it into the kegs. Using this organic anti-stress will really help your fish to stay calm. If you'd notice, when you put your fish in the keg with the water immediately starts foaming. Because why? They feel they're trapped. They start moving in a very, very fast motion. They start moving fast, and then the water starts foaming. So when you put this organic anti-stress, which is red oil, they immediately relax. They immediately relax. The bubbles on the water automatically disappears. So this is going to help them calm down and relax. So ensure you always do this. Next up is, how are you moving them? When are you moving them? I think I've talked about when. It's always best to move your fish early in the morning, right? You are going on a very long journey. Move them as early as 4 a.m, 5 a.m. You're good to go if it's a very, very long journey. And then you can also move late in the evening when the sun is down, because the sun is going to make the water hot, which will reduce dissolved oxygen, and then your fish will start gasping for air, and then they get stressed. What happens next? Mortality, and we don't want that. So next up is to ensure that the vehicle you're going to be using to move them is in a good state. We don't want a vehicle breaking down on the road. Well, even though we try as much as possible to carry out precautions and all that, there are situations that happen and then we do not plan for, and it just happens, right? So you have to ensure the vehicle is in a good state. Ensure you check the water and the carburetor, the oil, check the tires, check everything that you need to check. Ensure that the vehicle is spacious enough. Open up the windows, right, so that there can be cross ventilation, right? Cross ventilation is going to help the water to stay cool, ensure the water doesn't get hot very fast, right? And then if you have an air conditioned bus, yes, you can also use that. But while using the air conditioned bus, you also have to ensure you open the windows from time to time to allow fresh air come in to the vehicle. So that is that. Use a spacious vehicle, and then also ensure there is cross ventilation. If you're going to be using AC, open the windows from time to time to allow the used air to come out, for fresh air to come in, and then you can close up the windows after that. And then also you have to ensure, if you don't have a vehicle, this is for those who don't have a vehicle or cannot afford to hire a vehicle to move the fish from point A to B. If you're going to be using the public transport like people do, you have to ensure you are there, because I've experienced this myself, right? So while I was still into just grow out production, I actually bought fish from somebody. I was in Abeokuta, and this man was in Lagos. So they actually kept the kegs of the fish at the booth. How do you think they are going to survive? When the fish arrived, we had 90% mortality. This is something I experienced. I couldn't cry because I was not there, and then this man did not even ensure that the fish were kept in a place that they wouldn't suffocate, right? So how would you transport fish and then you're keeping them at the trunk that is closed, or you're keeping them on top of a part of the vehicle that is always getting hot or heated, like the engine part? Who does that? These are things you have to ensure. You have to ensure, as a catfish farmer, if you're into breeding and then you're selling to a customer, ensure that the kegs of the fish are kept in a place that is cool. You don't want to keep your keg on the hot part, on the engine, right? Because I know there's some bus that comes with their engine, inside is not usually in front, and different vehicles with different patterns. So ensure the fish are not kept in the trunk and then closed. There is no cross ventilation. Ensure they are kept in a place where they can always get fresh air coming in and then going out, because this is money and we can't be wasting money. So if you do not put all this into consideration, then you're going to have to bear the loss, right? And that is just it. So make sure you do that if you're transporting your fish. Next thing to ensure is to inform your customer to prepare his or her pond. Make sure the water is ready 2 days before. Allow the water to age, allow the water to rest before bringing in new fish into your pond, right? So that there is no shock, so that there is no drastic change in the water parameters they are coming from to the new one, because it's definitely going to affect them. And this brings me to another point of how you stocking the fish. If you're going to be stocking in an eating pond, you have to ensure you lower your keg into the pond. Allow a part of the pond water flow into the keg. Mix with the water in your keg, so as to stabilize the fish, get used to the new environment, the new water, and then slowly allow them to swim out, or gently, let them out into the new body of water. For those who would be stocking in concrete, tarpaulin ponds, plastic tanks, you can drain out the water. The water that comes with the carriage kegs, right? Because you definitely do not want to introduce that into your ponds. Why? Because these are surface ponds and they don't have poreholes to sap out all that waste that they might have produced during transit. So you can drain out with a sieve, and please ensure you do this gently. Try as much as possible not to stress them. After draining out, you then lower your sieve into the pond, the water, and allow them swim. Now this is all you have to do to ensure that your fish do not go through stress, to ensure you reduce mortality as much as you can. So that is all you have to do if you're using surface ponds like the plastic tank, concrete, or tarpaulin. And like I said, the reason is because they do not have poreholes, the soil, to actually sieve out the waste that will come with the carriage keg, the waste that the fish already produced. This is only going to make sense if you already told your customer, like I said before, to prepare his tank, prepare the water 2 days before, allow the water to age so the water is stable enough to receive the fish. The person also has to ensure he checks every of the water parameters, the pH, the temperature, and every other important, we have the physical parameters, the biological, the chemical parameters. So he has to ensure all these are in check. So ensuring you do all this, you only make your fish acclimatize faster than usual, right? But if they are coming to an environment where the water parameters are off, then you're going to be having issues. Even if you are bringing in your fish in a healthy state, you've done all you can do, and then the receiving point is wrong, everything will definitely go wrong. So you have to ensure at each stage you are doing the right thing. The customer does his part, right? And you, the producer, who is also the seller, can also ensure you've done your own part, right? So that is all you have to do. And also, if you're a producer, you're the one selling, ensure you sell good fish seeds that are of equal size. Of course, you can't measure them all, but there is a range, right? You're selling fingerlings, or you're going to sell 4.5 centimeter to 5.5 centimeter. That is a range. There's a very, very little difference. But if you're to sell fingerlings, right, to a customer, and then you now include 3 centimeter in a group of fish that are 4.5 to 5.5 centimeter, what do you think will happen 1 week after? The customer is going to call you and say, hello bro, my fish have really reduced the number, because they are definitely going to cannibalize. So you have to ensure you try as much as possible to sell equal size range to your customer, because this is your business and you have to protect the integrity of your business. And how do you do that? By selling good stock, selling good fish seeds to your customers. All right, so this is all you have to do. It's actually it's not a lot, because at the end of the day, the glory or the kudos will come to you, and then the customer will be happy. So it's not a lot, it's just precautions, it's just steps, it's just procedures, it's just the process, it's just what you have to do. So this brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you learned one or two things from today's video. So I know there's so many other catfish breeders here who are experts. We have a lot of experts that, you know, watch our videos and support us. So if you have other points, you know, other things that you feel we can do, because we're learning from each other, right? Nobody knows it all. So please drop that in the comment section. Let us share ideas. Tell us what you do whenever you want to, you know, move your fish from point A to B, because there might be something you're doing that, you know, would change the narrative, would change everything. So please share it in the comment section. Let us learn together and let's grow together. So thank you so much for watching. You can also follow us on Instagram, thefamlady_. You can follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. I'm going to be linking all that in the description box. You can send a message to us on WhatsApp. Somebody is going to be there to take your questions. You can book a section, you know. You can, you know, purchase any of our items, our books. We have some ebooks. You can, you know, book for your fish seeds, whatever you want to do. Somebody will always be at the other end to respond to your questions. So thank you so much. For new subscribers, welcome to the family. For old subscribers, you guys are the real MVPs. Thank you for always, and God bless you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.
Up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on